I don't care what anybody says. I am going to the playoffs.
Playoff
Like,
checks are
this. They are. This is him.
Yep.
This is you. There's no way you like Tampa over Orlando. There's no way.
Would do bad things to good people to not go to Orlando.
Hope everybody enjoyed last week's episode with Darian Stewart. It's Patrick and Steven here with Tailgate Talks. Episode 10 now, man. We've made it. We're done.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable how fast this has happened.
It's been a fun. It hasn't been 10 weeks for us. This has been probably probably closer to 6 months of us planning all this and getting all this stuff going. But it's been super fun to get back into this.
For sure. Yeah, man. Finally having power back and can probably trim my beard a little bit and get cleaned up after that hurricane, man. I'd tell you what, I wouldn't wish no power on my worst enemy, man. It was an absolute nightmare.
It's been a brutal. I mean, this hurricane stretch over the last 3 weeks has not been ideal for Florida, South Carolina, or North Carolina.
It's sickening, man. It's sad. Yeah.
I mean, prayers.
But we survived, man. We're here.
Affected, especially Asheville, man. North Carolina it's like gone.
Yeah, it's sad, man.
Crazy. But this week we have Mike Davis on. We recorded it about a week ago from a really cool venue on a golf course. I actually played 9 holes with Mike before we recorded. Mike went out, and I think he played 18 after we recorded. So he had a big day on the golf course. But we were out at Wood Creek Club here, Lou Golf Elgin. I'm actually a member out there, so great golf course. I took my member. I didn't share. I made sure I was going to beat Mike on the golf course, so I gave him some nuggets, but not all the nuggets on the golf course. But no, we had a great time out there. But we talked. I mean, we talked a little bit about everything with him. Talked about his career here at Carolina. Came into a really star-studded running back room. Played as a freshman, Marcus's injury, those emotions. And then we talked about his 2 killer years at Carolina. I mean, he earned the right to leave early, left early, and then had a 7-year NFL career that was like peaks and valleys.
And that's kind of that was kind of the theme of the whole interview. And when you said, when we were texting back and forth about, his career was just absolutely wild. I actually kind of went through and looked at it, and I mean, that is wild. I mean, you're going into these locker rooms that have, Marcus Lattimore, then you go into another room with these other guys and all these other NFL teams. I mean, it's unbelievable. And, he stuck around for a while, and, he made a pretty big impact on a couple of different teams. So, I mean, it was a pretty cool interview.
Yeah. He stayed the course because, I mean, he signed a couple places and was slotted to be the day one starter. Was the first guy to get reps, but didn't. At some point was moved around and, stuff didn't go his way, but he turned into a really good career. He made some huge plays at South Carolina, and then he made several big plays for the Carolina Panthers up there and then another contract in Atlanta, and is now living back in Atlanta with his 2 daughters and his wife. So,
and I'll tell you what, another cool thing was hearing how he was, when he was talking about he was in that dark place and, the depression and anxiety and everything else, man. I mean, people don't think that NFL guys kind of go through that. And for him to kind of open up about that, I thought that was, pretty cool to hear, and, glad and thankful that he was able to sneak his way out of there. Cause it's a bad place to be, man. I can attest to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think golf was probably one of those safe havens for him. It was a new thing that he got into a couple years ago. And that's been another reoccurring theme. Maybe we need to do a Tailgate Talks like golf tournament or something.
Yeah, these 2, Mike Davis.
It would be cool to have some of our former players back. Connor golfs. It's a lot of guys that we play with at golf. It'd be fun to do like a cool tournament. Wheels churning.
The alumni golf tournament, man. The 15th. Let's see if we can coordinate something.
Yeah, no, that's a phenomenal idea.
How about that damn game, man? That was a heartbreaker, and the boys fought like hell, but that was such a tough ending to what was a great game.
Yeah, we talked about Carolina being a team that's going to really struggle to play from behind. We were down 14-0 in the middle of the second quarter and dug our way out of that hole, got into halftime, had a big touchdown, Mazeo Bennett on a 30-something yard touchdown pass from Lenoris. And then 3 seconds later, or 8 seconds later, whatever it was, Kennard sacked Milrose in the end zone for a safety. And then, we had a pick that Kilgore almost brought back to the house. That would have been awesome to have the lead going into halftime. But they fought their asses off. They competed hard, went into Tuscaloosa, and honestly should have walked away with the victory, but didn't. No moral victories, because those are, SEC's
Fake.
hard. Either way you come by it, you got to go in there and you got to finish the job. Doing 3/4 of the job is great, but you got to get the dub. But I was very proud with how they played. Lenoris, I thought, played well. Had the fumble late, which wasn't great, and then the interception that was kind of weird. Looked like the receiver kind of gave up. He had pressure in the face, just went to go give somebody a chance, and there's nobody there.
Yeah, that's, as they say, poo-poo happens. That's part of the game. And again, people got to understand. I was looking on Twitter, when I was actually having service out here, but people are just, these armchair quarterbacks are just brutal, man. Like they have no idea how hard it is to have these guys running at your face and trying to complete balls and read the coverages and reading blitz. It sure shit ain't easy. One thing I will agree with is when you're 6'3" and you're 250, you shouldn't be sliding. You should be lowering your shoulder. At least dive forward. You don't need to be getting whacked and taking all these extra hits, but sliding is for DMs in baseball. I've said that since of all time. As big as he is, man, you got to get those first downs when you can. But overall, I'm very optimistic about Lenoris's future. I think he's got a hell of a bright future, and I think people just need to give him time. They got to remember he's a redshirt freshman.
Dude, we're sitting here and we're probably, realistically, we're 7 or 8 plays away from being 5-1 going into Oklahoma. The only game that we really lost was Ole Miss, and we rebounded and played really well this past week against Alabama. Defense still a stud. Kennard, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. Kilgore, another interception. OD made a big play, that interception. Mazeo Bennett, a true freshman wide receiver coming in here and playing his tail off, had 70 or 80 yards and another touchdown. There's a lot to be excited about. And to be excited about, Shane Beamer, we're heading back, where he's going back to Norman, Oklahoma to go play these guys this upcoming week. Oklahoma's I believe they're 5-1. So good, a really good matchup and a really good opportunity for us to go there and compete and take it to them.
You think Coach Beamer has the same kind of mentality that Coach Spurrier had when the years we played against Florida? I remember him being so freaking. He's an uptight guy in general, but those Florida practice weeks were absolutely hellish. And I just wonder if Coach Beamer's kind of got that same mentality, like, I was just there. I want to come in there and beat their ass.
Yeah. They're 4-2, so they're only 1 game better than us. They lost to Tennessee, and then they lost to Texas, and they just got their tails kicked by Texas. So, no, but I do think that Shane definitely is going to have a little chip on his shoulder going back there. But he has, honestly, in our conversations with him, he has been very appreciative of his times other places to be able to take those tools and put them in the toolbox of what he wanted to do to be head coach here. Playing against Venables, who was the DC at Clemson for a long, long time, who's kind of had an up and down first 2 years at Oklahoma. So, no, I guess he's not familiar with playing this Gamecock team with Lenoris and Dow Loggins calling the plays, but he's very familiar with the Garnet and Black and that Black C. So hopefully we go in there, and I think we will play at a very high level. Defense continue to light it up. Offense continue to get better. I feel like the play calling this past week was more creative.
Yep, I agree.
A little more simple too. Let guys go make plays. Nick Harbor had the big catch there, the little toe tap in the corner of the end zone to give us a chance. So no, I'm excited to watch us go compete.
Yeah, I'm hoping we have a little bit more of that, throughout throughout the remainder of this year. Just given that, I mean, how tall is the guy? 6'6".
Yeah, 6'6"
I
and
mean,
run sub 10.
just have Lenore just chuck it up, man. I mean, I remember doing that with Alshon. Like, shit, he's down there somewhere. Like, grenade, throw that son bitch
Yeah.
and see what happens. Worst case, he knocks it out of bounds, or it's not a pick. But yeah, I'm hoping that we can get a little bit more of that activity going on throughout the remainder of this year.
Yeah, no, I think we will. I think the receivers, the timing, and all that stuff. I feel like the pass protection was awesome this past week as well. So the pass game hopefully will continue to improve week in and week out. But hope you guys enjoy this episode with Mike Davis and cheering on the Gamecocks this weekend. See y'all. All right, we are here out at Wood Creek Country Club out here in Lugoff, Elgin, just outside of downtown Columbia, with my man Mike Davis. We just got 9 holes in. Mike's gonna go back out and might play until you can't see the ball anymore.
I might play another 27. I don't know.
Hey, it was fun to be out there. It was our first time golfing together. First time of many. We're gonna get back out there a bunch more. But let's jump right in. You from Atlanta, Stone Mountain?
Atlanta,
Atlanta,
like the city of Atlanta.
City of Atlanta.
I ended up moving to Stevenson area in high school, so
okay.
A lot of folks think like, oh, I'm from. They'll say like I'm from DeKalb County or call me a DeKalb County product, and I just be like,
I'm downtown Atlanta.
kind of Fulton County. I'm kind of like from the city, but a lot of people just know like high schools are like, all right, Stone Mountain.
Born and bred. I love it. Well, I mean, growing up in Atlanta, I mean, I was there for 8 years when I was playing for Buffalo, and then in Atlanta, it's Bulldog country.
Yes, it is.
How in the world between being in Atlanta where the Bulldogs are known everywhere, your brother going to Clemson, how in the world did you end up at South Carolina?
So it's kind of funny because so like growing up in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, obviously, you like you love Georgia football. So like the Falcons were big, Georgia was big. So when it came to recruiting, of course, the offer that I wanted was Georgia.
Yep.
Well, being the number 1 running back in Georgia, I didn't get an offer from UGA until like I want to say like December of my senior year.
What?
Yeah. So it was kind of
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It's like the number 1 running back in Georgia, and I don't have an offer from UGA, and I was like, okay.
From a state that produces
Yep.
arguably the best running backs, between Georgia and Texas.
Yep.
I mean, those states just print out freaking running backs, man. That is unbelievable. UGA screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we reap the benefits there.
Yeah. Being committed. Well, then I committed to Florida. That was like it was my dream school at the time. Like
I was coming off natties and all that.
Man, they had Rainey, Demps. Florida was a school like I was like I'm going there like no matter what. Like I went to camps. I had the F carved in the back of my head. Man, I was repping Florida for like the longest. I was doing the Gator chumps out the touchdowns.
Yep. In high school?
Yeah.
Oh shoot! And Coach Spurrier reeled him in.
Ballsy, man. Ballsy.
Yeah, it was. I committed, man. It was well, I decommitted from Florida, and like I want to say in like December.
Really?
Yeah. So like I think it was the December or January. So
Mike, what made you flip flop?
Yep.
So I decommitted because so my high school team, we had a bunch of guys that were going D1. It was like 14 of us going D1, right?
Holy smokes.
So I'm committed to Florida. Like I'm telling them like I'm going there no matter what. So they're doing like in-home visits around this time. December is cold. They're doing in-home visits.
Yep.
And they send a tight end coach to my house for an in-home visit. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. You don't send a running back coach. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm going anyway. So they come in. My brother asked them, are they recruiting Keith Marshall at the time?
Yep.
So he goes, no, Keith Marshall sucks. We're not even thinking about this guy. And I'm looking at my brother like, I don't know why you asking that anyway. I'm going to Florida. I don't care.
Yep.
And the next day, they sent the whole coaching staff to Keith Marshall house.
You saw it?
Yeah. And I was like, I was like, nah. I'm not going here anymore.
Yep.
And I ended up decommitting like the next day. We ended up losing first round of the playoffs. That kind of egged it on too. I was already pissed, and then on top of that, kind of like floated, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going here anymore.
Well, that's pretty
Hold
funny.
on, Mike. You mean to tell me that college recruiters and coaches lie to high school recruits?
No, they're the most
Hold on.
honest,
Is this
stand-up
breaking news,
people.
Pat?
No, but it's kind of like I didn't care, but it was just kind of like I recruited so many other Florida kids to go to Florida. Like a lot of them will tell you like I was one of the reasons why they went there. So I was recruiting like hella people to come to Florida, and then for them to pull that, it was kind of like a slap in the face.
Well, I mean, how about that? I mean, you ended up flipping and going to South Carolina, and then Keith Marshall, who they threw the Army at after
was going to UGA,
ended up going to UGA and ended up with nobody.
Yeah, it was kind of messed up because I was thinking to myself like, I knew Keith Marshall was going to UGA anyway, so it's kind of like the top players like we talked to each other, but you know what I'm saying, like they didn't know that, so it's just the fact that they kind of like pulled that stunt, and I was like, yeah,
Saw through the BS.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm not going here anymore.
Well, we're glad they screwed
Right,
the
right.
and you came to Carolina, and I'm
Right.
sure all the fans are too. I mean, you had a heck of a career here. I mean, you left early. You played 3 years. In 2012, your freshman year, you come into a room that's pretty deep. Marcus is already there. Kenny Miles played with Stephen and I, and he's from Atlanta, or just outside of Georgia, and was having some good years. You and Brandon Wiles were the same class?
No,
Came
they
together?
were older than me.
Brandon Wiles was a year before you.
Year before
Yeah.
me. Sean
Brandon's
Carson.
older, yeah.
So you came into a pretty star-studded room.
Yeah.
And then, boom, in 2012, Marcus gets hurt. The second knee happens against Tennessee. And we were talking about it on the golf course. Tell us what we talked about on the golf course.
Yeah, so I was telling them that, so imagine seeing, the unfortunate injury that happened to Marcus live, right? And then the coach is kind of like, hey, all right, you're in.
Yeah, go get him, Tiger.
And I'm just like, there's no way. Like, this is a game I go in, after, when Lat gets hurt. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, my brain mentally, like, I was checked out. I think everybody in the stadium was checked out after saying that. But for me to go in after that was kind of like, I was like, bro, there's no way. Like, how you expect me to be focused on this game after seeing that?
I mean, that's kind of, not to the extremity of the DeMar Hamlin, but DeMar Hamlin last year or it was 2 years ago when that happened on the field, I remember sitting, and honestly, when the DeMar Hamlin thing happened, Weston was sitting there watching the game with me, and I'm sitting there watching my 6-year-old son at the time, like, started to ask, like, what's going on with him, and everybody, like, nobody knows. Like, I heard he died twice on the field and they had to resuscitate him.
Yeah.
I mean, I started weeping, and he started weeping, and my wife started weeping. We're sitting in bed, and I was a couple years removed from playing for the Bills, and I didn't know DeMar, but, like, I felt my old teammates' pain. In the same sense, when Marcus got hurt, I remember I was on the practice squad with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I was sitting on the sofa watching the Tennessee game, and it happened. And I remember seeing the severity of it in the replay and his knee going backwards. And I started weeping there. I was sitting in the room by myself, and I'm like, holy smokes. Like, this could be it for arguably the best player to ever step on the field at South Carolina. And this could be it. Thankfully, he was able to bounce back and got his chance in the NFL with the 49ers. But, I mean, it was honestly it.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of got robbed as fans. South Carolina fans were fans everywhere with Marcus being injured, and because of the kind of person Lat was, it was kind of like it was like it sucked. So what I'm saying, like everybody was kind of like tearing up and crying because like he was a great person, the most humble person you ever meet. You know what I'm saying? Like Lat didn't even know me like that, and you know what I'm saying? Like he give you clothes off his back. You know what I'm saying? If you needed help with like money, you ain't have, you know what I'm saying, much. If you needed help with food, Lat was like the first person to do it, like without any question. So it just like for that to happen to him was kind of like a gut punch.
Speaking, not to change the subject completely, but speaking about money, man, how about this NIL situation? I don't think you'd have any trouble collecting money or needing clothes in this day and age.
No, definitely not in this day and age. I'm kind of glad that I wasn't a part of it though.
Me too.
I definitely am. I wouldn't be alive here today if somebody was paying me $1 million in college. I'd be I'd be in a ditch somewhere.
Right, but I also think about it as like I don't know how much like it would have affected my career, especially South Carolina. Like, think about it: 4-star, 5-star guy coming in, you're not playing much, and then another school offer you $500,000, $1 million to go there, and like I'm leaving. I'm not staying here. They're not playing.
Well, yep.
And that kind
I
of
just wanted to kind of take a quick little pivot on that, just kind of get your
good.
opinion on it.
Well, I mean, shoot, and then, I mean, 13, 14. I mean, you had over 3,000 all-purpose yards between those 2 years. Tell us about some of your big games, best experiences, some of that stuff during those 2 years where you, I mean, just went absolutely nuts.
My best games, UGA for one of them was UGA. So that was kind of like, they were kind of like my rival. That was my rival school.
Chip on your shoulder,
Yeah, so that was the school like I wanted to like punish with UGA because, you know what I'm saying, being from Georgia, like, I'm going to show y'all what y'all missed out on.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like that game. UGA, I want to say it was 2013.
UCF,
Kentucky.
man.
UCF, that was my favorite game.
Yep, okay.
That was my favorite game. And
That was my favorite game, man. I love that. I absolutely love that game. My little brother went to UCF. I had all his stupid ass friends cheering like, "Go Knights, go Knights!" And then all of a sudden, like, who the hell is this Mike Davis guy? We cannot tackle this damn guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's my guy, man. Let's go."
Yeah, that was kind of my favorite game because that was one of the games you know how Spurrier is. So there's games where he like, we're throwing the ball no matter what. I think I had probably 2 carries at halftime. And then a lot of people don't know it rained.
Yep.
It rained and then it got very hot. Like very hot. So I started getting the ball, you know what I'm saying, the second half. Then I started, breaking long runs and like, oh, well, I guess we could like hand the ball off now, run the
This
ball.
can be a normal thing.
Yeah, but it's just like when in the halftime, like I don't know what's going on. I haven't touched the ball. Like the previous 3 games, I was breaking like 75-yard runs, like every game. But that game, for some reason, I didn't touch the ball till like halftime. I was like, I ain't pissed nobody off.
And then Coach woke up and he's like, oh wait, let's feed the beast.
Yeah, but that was definitely like my favorite game because of how it started and how it ended. Let's think about another one of my favorite games too was it was a game I don't even know if I played. 2012 UGA in South Carolina.
That was,
I think we beat them like
Ace's punt return.
It was like 35-0 in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And everybody like had wrote us off like there's no way that we were going to beat UGA. I think it was a night game too.
So you had a vendetta out for UGA. You said you got a target on your back.
But that game I didn't even play, and I was like, that was like one of my like best games to like witness.
It is. I mean, Williams-Brice Stadium is is a special place to play, especially in successful teams. I mean, talk about 2011 they win 9 games. 2012 they win 11. 2013 they win 11. 2014, what did you guys win, 10?
Oh, 14 was, I think, probably like 7.
7, okay. Because in 14, you had another big year, and you decided to leave early. You played 3 years, then you left early and left for the draft. Tell us that mindset, what your thoughts were, who was in your ear. You know, obviously you made a good choice. You were a 4th-round pick, and you had an 8-year NFL career, but walk us through leaving early and that thought process.
Yeah, so when I was in college, I used to pay my mom bills, like, the Pell Grant and stuff that we got. So like when I get like that was huge. I think it was like $2,000 or $2,700, somewhere around that number.
Yep.
I had to send like half of it home.
Yep.
So it was like when I was getting that money, I was just paying bills at home. So like my sophomore year when I was like balling and doing all these things, like my mom, like I think like my junior year, she had got like a eviction notice, or you know what I'm saying, on her door. So I was just like, I'm leaving regardless. Like I am going to the NFL. Like this is it. So that would kind of trigger. I was going
business
to the NFL.
mode for you. I know it makes sense. I mean, but also timed up well because you balled your junior year.
Oh yeah.
And it made it a pretty easy decision. I don't think anybody in Gamecock Nation would ever blame you for leaving early. So let's go into your NFL career. You get drafted in the 4th round to the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, Mike Davis, he was kind of the big pudgy back," but you probably had more long runs than any back in South Carolina history.
Yeah, I had a bunch.
And then you ended up running, I think 4.48 or something at the combine.
I ran. I ran 4.5, but I didn't run it out.
Yep.
So like the 40 time wasn't like really good for me because I didn't really work on it enough. But if you watch it, like I didn't fit like 5 yards out. I just like slow it down and start running.
Well, if they want your tape from South Carolina, they saw you had the top end.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you broke a couple 80 yards. It was like stupid. I mean, because you played at what, 225?
My junior year I was 225, 220, 225ish. Junior year I was
that's a big back.
215. Freshman year 215.
Yep, that's a big back, big old back.
I'll tell you what, Pat, he's probably slightly faster than we are.
A half a second faster. A half a second.
Maybe a full second.
Oh, full 8. That's a lot.
No, we could break 5 flat.
I don't even want to try, man.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to attempt
not
it.
at this point. Not at this point.
Yeah, them hamstrings hurt.
Yes. But let's go into your rookie year. You are obviously a high draft pick in the 4th round. Fourth round, you're probably the 4th or 5th back off the charts. You go to San Francisco, who's an immediate contender. I mean, they were playing for championships and probably won a Super Bowl a couple years before that. So you go there. Tell us about your experience in San Francisco.
So I get drafted to the 49ers, right? And the first thing comes to my mind is like, I'm going to the playoffs.
Yep.
Like I don't care what anybody says. I am going to the playoffs.
Playoff
like,
checks are good.
They are. So I'm just like, that was the first thing. I'm going to the playoffs. Like that's all that matters. So when I got drafted, Trent Baalke, I think was the GM. They brought all the draft picks in the room and had like the vets in the same room, and they set us all down. It was like, hey, listen, we don't need none of y'all. I was like,
whoa,
okay, that's kind of
welcome.
crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely like welcome. It's like, yeah, we don't need any of you right now. You know what I'm saying? Telling us like what guys in front of you. They call my name. It's like Mike Davis. You know, it's like, hey, what's going on? It's like, all right, got Carlos Hyde here. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't need you. He was like, I've cut a first rounder before. That's what they was telling us.
Damn.
So,
Jeez.
yeah. So it was kind of like they were trying to like instruct fear in us when I was in San Fran. It was like everything was on eggshells. So when I got there, it seemed like everybody was like leaving or retiring. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Willis was gone.
Bowman had 1 or 2 years left.
The Cowboy on the D-line.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Frank Gore. Everybody was either retiring or leaving. So it's kind of like we was on eggshells, and I think we only won like 4 games.
Yeah, that's crazy because I want to say that it was the year before y'all made it all the way to the championship game.
Yes, and then that's what I was saying in my head, like we're going to the playoffs, like, and then I get there and it was like everything went downhill, like nothing worked out, nothing was going well for me. Like my rookie year was probably like the worst, and it's crazy like you see like my best friend, like Todd Gurley, see him like balling.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Duke Johnson, I'm seeing him like balling, right? And me and San Fran, like I can't even really get on the field, and when I do, you know what I'm saying, I'm getting hit in the backfield.
Yep.
So it's kind of like I'm seeing all my friends ball, and I'm just in San Fran miserable, and nothing is going right. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, so you made it. You do 2 full years? No, you didn't even do 2 full years in San Francisco. They released you.
I had two full years.
2 full years.
Going into the 3rd year is
Okay.
where I got released, and it's kind of. I got some funny stories about San Fran. Is pretty comical. So like my time there is kind of like the things that happened with Cap.
Yep.
But the year before, like if you paid attention to Cap was like. Well, when I got there, I thought Cap was like super cocky.
Yep.
But he's confident, you know what I'm saying, as you should be as a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I'm a rookie. I know, you know what I'm saying, I don't know no better. Now I look back on like I'm kind of stupid.
Yep.
So I get into it with Cap at practice. We're doing team not team run, just team ones against ones in the red zone. So, we don't have pads on. And like D linemen and guys, they're playing. I'm trying to get to run a bus route.
Yeah.
2 guys grabbed me, like literally grabbed me and won't let me run out to my route. So I'm just laughing like, all right, like you got me. I get to the sideline, Cap goes off. He like goes off like, hey man, that's BS. You supposed to be here. I expect you to be here. What are you doing? And I'm talking about like going off, like, and I'm on the side. I'm like, okay, now I can't let you talk to me like this. Like you gotta chill. So I'm like, all right, now I just got grabbed, so I ain't finna let you just talk to me crazy. You gotta check your tone, like chill. And he's still going on, right? So I'm in his face, and the special team coach grabs me, right? And I'm still going at him. He pulls and say, hey, let me talk to you. I'm like, nah, coach, man, he talking crazy. He pulls out a sheet and writes 100 at the top, V, and then 1 at the bottom. And he points at it and say, hey, this is him.
Yep.
This is you.
Damn.
You're not going to win any argument against him. And I was like,
You're right.
you're right.
Like, my bad.
You're right. My bad. I'll chill out. You're right. But it
That's-
was kind of crazy, man. And then new head coach every year.
Yep.
They bring in their guys who they like. So it was tough.
Yeah. I mean,
Mike, how did you love paying the California state tax?
I hate it. I
Yeah.
think it was 53%.
Unbelievable.
That's one of the things I hated about Cali.
In New York State, yeah.
I felt like I wasn't making enough money, and then it's kind of crazy to say that playing in the NFL. Kind of feel like I wasn't making enough money.
Yep.
My rent was like $3,000, and I'm in a small apartment. Not to speak on bit, but I'm making. My check would say $36,000, but I'm only seeing 12.
Yep.
And it's just like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, take home California and New York State is like just over 50%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is crazy. And then you built in agent fees and union dues and all the expenses that come in. It is absolutely nuts. So you stay West Coast. You ended up signing in Seattle.
Yeah.
Dude, when I did research on your NFL career, I was like, I texted these guys and I was like,
He did,
his career
yeah.
is absolutely fascinating. Like, there's highs, there's a lot of lows, there's a lot of in-betweens, but there's more lows than in-betweens or highs. And to be one of the most successful running backs in South Carolina history, and you had a long NFL career, but it was like just, it was strange. So you sign in Seattle, you're on the practice squad most of your first year there. You get elevated, you're up and down, kind of the same ride.
Brutal.
But you're on another good team. I mean, Seattle's a contender.
Uh-huh.
Tell us about Seattle. I mean, the Legion of Boom and all that stuff. You were right there in it.
Yeah, so you think of Seattle at the time, you like a Legion of Boom, right? So I get released, I get picked up. They picked me up on waivers, right? And I get there, and the first thing on my mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh man, they got Richard Sherman. This guy's an asshole. Like, well, I'm
Yeah, you're good.
I'm like, bro, this guy. You know what I'm saying? You know how the media portrays. I'm like, bro, this man,
He's a loudmouth. He's a big personality. He's very assertive, yeah.
But he's not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like off camera. Like he was like
He's
one of my
super
best
smart.
friends.
He
You know what I'm
is
saying?
super
Really
smart.
smart. So he was like one of the guys who like took me in, man. I appreciate Richard Sherman for that. But he helped me out a lot when I was there. But when I was in Seattle, I signed there, bro. It was like 9 running backs on the roster.
Yep.
Like 9. And I'm just like, they were like,
Were you there with Beast Mode, Sean Carson, or was Beast Mode gone?
Beast Mode was gone,
Okay.
but it was Sean Carson. Carson,
What was his name?
Jesus Christ.
Last name was Carson.
Yeah.
Carson. We'll go with Carson.
Yeah. Chris Carson.
Chris Carson, yes.
Chris Carson. So it was
Sean Carson, Gamecock,
Right,
Gamecock
yeah.
great.
I was about to say, damn, Sean was with the Seattle Seahawks?
man. So it was Eddie Lacy,
Yep.
Chris Carson, CJ Procise,
Yep.
Troy Pope.
High draft picks.
Yeah, it was literally I think like 9 of us. I don't know, I can't remember. Alex Collins.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's a deep
Jesus
room.
Yeah, and I'm at the bottom of it.
Yep.
Coming in, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know me, they don't know my personality. I was at the bottom of it. Practice squad was by far the worst thing. That would kind of help me out. My career was practice squad in Seattle because at the time, practice squad was like 7 people at the time or something like that.
Yep.
Nowadays, I think it's like 13 or
It's
14.
like 14 or 15.
Yeah. But so it's 7 practice squad guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only running back on practice squad. Meanwhile, there's like 5 actually active running backs, but like none of them were helping me in practice. So, you know what I'm saying? The practice squad guy, scout team, I'm doing running back, and then I got to go on defense and play linebacker, cornerback, and guard Tyler Lockett
And cover
and Doug
covering
Ball,
kicks and yep.
and then do special teams. You know what I'm saying? And then do the other side of special teams.
I did that same life for a year and a half.
So it kind of helped me because I'm practicing against the best.
Yep.
And they wasn't letting up because, you know what I'm saying, they liked me. I'm on practice squad. They were mad to practice against Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman,
Jeez.
Bobby Wagner,
KJ Wright.
Michael
you know
Bennett.
what I'm saying? Michael Bennett
They
was by
were
far the
some
worst.
dudes. Yep.
Because I feel like he knew all the plays.
Yep.
So it was, at the time I was like, I got really depressed.
Yep.
Until, you know what I'm saying, I got elevated. It got to points where I was like, man, my career is not going anywhere. Like, it got so bad, I was like, you know what? I had to trick myself, psych myself, and I was like, I'm gonna make them, like, I'm gonna show them in practice. Like, every day, I'm about to kill them. You know what I'm saying? Every day, I'm gonna kill them. And then it's like, it wasn't getting me anywhere. Guys would get hurt. Chris Carson got hurt early on, and I was like, all right, it's my chance to, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get elevated. Nope, brought a defensive end in. CJ Prosise got hurt, another running back. So I'm like, I'm definitely getting brought up. Nope, didn't get brought up again. Bro, I didn't get active until it was like 7 games left.
Yep.
So
Mike, so to kind of
the-
just piggyback on this story, man, like you said you were depressed. Like how do you find that in your
In the
core
West Coast by
to like
yourself,
push
yeah.
through it?
Yeah, so I used to watch this video. I don't know how I found it. It's UOU, and it kind of helped me because I used to watch it every morning when I woke up, and I kind of felt like it was like speaking to me. So that was the only thing that would like help me like go. Other than that, bro, I was in my room, all lights off, dark.
That's crazy.
Literally a dark
everybody
place.
thinks NFL is the highs of highs and fine and dandy, but when you get in the mud of it, man, it's thick and nasty.
I was the definition of depressed. I didn't want to talk to nobody because it's just like you said, like I got drafted high. I got drafted 4th round. What else kind of high to me? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? You got your family and you want to play football. The only thing you want to do is play football, and I felt like it was just slipping away. I'm on practice squad, right? And it's like there's nothing I can do to get, you know what I'm saying, bumped up. Guys in my position are getting hurt, and I'm still not playing. So it was kind of like I was depressed and the most pissed off at the same time. So when I got bumped up, you see me run, right? They
fuel
say
the fire.
like this guy runs angry. No shit, I am mad. I'm pissed.
I was depressed and now I'm pissed.
I'll tell you what, Mike, if you think you were depressed, you should have seen me in frickin' Montreal.
Oh gosh. Yeah. You did
I was sitting there, I was
two
like,
years
man,
up
what
there?
the fuck am I doing here in Canada? Like
Yep.
this is you go from the SEC to Canada. I mean, so to kind of say what kind of get what you're saying, man, it makes you think about some life decisions for sure.
No, it definitely does. And then would it be like, you know how they say like Seattle is rainy, it's gloomy.
Vitamin D. I mean, same thing in
You know?
Buffalo. There's seasonal depression's a real thing up there.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, it's getting cold, it's raining and snowing and stuff, and I'm just like, bro, my career is going nowhere. There's nothing I can do. And all I know is football, and there's nothing I can do.
But there was there was a sliver of light. You end up getting activated, and you end up playing well and kind of making a name for yourself in Seattle towards the last year there. And you had some good stats. You end up signing in Chicago. You signed a pretty good 2-year deal in Chicago.
Yeah.
I started digging in there, and I'm like, what the heck happened in Chicago? He signed a good deal. Now you went to a room that had David Montgomery, Tyreek Cohen, who came out of nowhere, who's an undrafted guy. Cordell Patterson is like kickoff returner, and then they decide to
Put him in
pitch him the
running
ball at running back.
Yeah.
Talk about that, dude. I was so fascinated by your story.
Yeah, so like you said, so in Seattle, like I said, I was depressed and I was mad and I was pissed off. So that kind of like helped my game. So I balled, you know what I'm saying, the last game, and then signed back and balled again.
Yep.
So I was like one of the first running backs to sign a free agency to Chicago. But the thing about doing free agency, they're not supposed to call you.
Yep.
Not supposed
They have
to call
the tampering period.
Yeah. Before Chicago, they were calling me like every day.
Yep.
So the head coach, he was calling me every day from like different numbers. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know the number. I'm like, who the heck is this calling me? And he was like, hey man, what's going on, man? You know, it's Matt Nagy from, Chicago Bears, you know what I'm saying? Just let you know what I'm saying?
You saying it all secretive now?
Yeah, yeah. So it was kind of like they were calling me the most, and I felt like, it's the team that wants me. So I'm like, Chicago's at the top of the list. So when it came to like that day before, they sent in a nice contract at the time. I think it was like 2 for $5 or something like that, $3 million guaranteed. So I'm like,
sign me up. What I've been through, sign me up for that.
I've been through so much. This is my first. This is the the generational contract at the time for me. You know what I'm saying? This is my first time I'm going to see I'm going to see $1 million. I'm going to actually see it.
Yep.
So I signed with Chicago, bro. And you know how they're telling me, you're our starter, you're our guy. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about nothing. They telling me like, listen, you don't even have to go in special teams meeting or nothing. When they're in special teams meeting, you're going to be, the millions or whatever you want to do. You're not going to be in it. This is what you're going to do. They're selling me the dream, right? They're selling me the dream. You're going to be this guy. We're going to do this with you. So, so I'm like, of course, I'm signing.
Sign me up.
So they draft David Montgomery, great running back. I love the pick, so I'm like,
he's good.
I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? That 1-2 punch.
He'll take some hits off me.
Right. So I'm like, I love it. They call me like right away and like, hey, we want to let you know, you're still our guy. But we want to let you know we drafting him, but you're still our guy. And I'm like, I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then we got Tariq Cohen as well. So you got to think about it. There's 3 really good running backs in the same room. Yep. So we're going through training camp, and you know what I'm saying? You know how you notice a parent, like, they're not pushing me out, as the starting running back. I'm doing freaking special team stuff.
Yeah, they told you weren't doing that.
In training camp, bro, like, I'm doing kick return, blocking for Cordell Patterson.
Yep.
So I'm doing all special team stuff, bro, but I'm starting running back, you know what I'm saying? They still telling me that. So the first game comes, bro. I was only in, I think, for like the first play. After that, they put David Montgomery in, and he got like the bulk of everything. So I never really played in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to like explain that to people. I never like really played, and it kind of like it went down. My time in Chicago went downhill because well, yeah, I want to know. I'm gonna tell you now. So my dad ended up passing while I was in Chicago, and like the week, I want to say the week before, the week after my dad passed, they wanted me to do like some like dance competition thing. You know what I'm saying? Some dance in the locker room. You dancing against competition against some other guys. But I'm still grieving over that. You know what I'm saying? My dad has passed. I'm not really playing. You know what I'm saying? They telling me, you know what I'm saying, all this going on. So I'm like, whatever. Like, I feel like it's dropping the ball. Just doing stuff, like little stuff like to like agitate me, but I'm not falling for it. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm trying to be professional. Yep. I'm going to keep it as it is. So I think we go and play like Denver or something like that. And they come to me the day before the game, like, hey, we're going to make you inactive. Cool. So I'm like, all right, well, this is the start of it. Yep. I know I'm not going to be here. And we're like 30 minutes before kickoff, and they're kind of be like, hey, we need you to suit up. One of our guys got sick.
That does not go well.
So I'm looking at him like, I haven't even really warmed up, nothing. I haven't done nothing, and you telling me, all right, now I got to get my mind right, you know what I'm saying? So he comes to me and tells me, like, all right, cool. So I'm just standing in front of my locker, and he goes, what's going on? You feel like you don't want to be here or something. You see, I tell you, like, they're trying to, like, antagonize me, and I'm like, Coach, you look up here. My shoulder pad doesn't have a jersey on it. There's nothing. I can't even put nothing on yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have a jersey.
Yeah, you just antagonizing me.
You know what I'm saying? So they kept like just poking at me. I told like my dad had just passed, so it was just kind of like they were kind of like picking on me or whatever. And then the media threw out like if I got cut, they get like a certain pick. Yeah. And I was like, I had no idea about that until they brought it up. And then like the next week, I ended up getting released, and then
Blessing in disguise.
Panthers.
Though. Yeah, blessing in disguise though. You end up signing in Carolina. Mm-hmm. Christian McCaffrey was there.
Yep.
He was. I guess he was thunder. You were lightning. You guys kind of had a little bit of a 1-2 punch. Mm-hmm. Your first year there. Second year, he gets hurt. Was it week 2 or week 3 early on in the season?
It was early on. I think it was like week 3.
And then it's finally the Mike Davis show. Like the world can finally see what Mike Davis can do with the ball in his hands on a consistent basis, and you got in a rhythm, and you balled. Mm-hmm. Tell us about your time with the Panthers.
So my time with the Panthers, so I got released by Chicago during the season. It's like a couple games left, and I'm thinking to myself like, think about it. I'm on this big contract, 2 year, 5. You know what I'm saying, $5 million. So I'm thinking to myself like, nobody's picking this contract up. I haven't even played. I got like 12 carries, and there's like a month left for football. Yep. So I'm like, nobody's picking this contract up. I'll have a chance to double dip. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
I'm rephrasing again. Yeah.
I got a chance to double dip. So I'm like, okay, that'd be great. So I get released. You know what I'm saying? I'm not at the game, so release me on Saturday, so they make it hard for people to pick you up. So I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? It's whatever. I end up getting a call like, I want to say like Sunday night, and my coach was like, my agent was like, congrats, man, you're going to the Panthers. And I'm like,
wait, what?
I was like, what? I was like, somebody picked up my contract? Like, are you serious? I haven't even played, and somebody picked it up. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, you know what? This is great. I get to go back like home. Yep. I'm close to home finally. I done been away from the world.
West Coast, everywhere,
you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm happy at that time. I'm like, you know what? This is gonna be great. And then I look and I'm like, wait, they got Christian McCaffrey. Why am I getting picked up here? So I think he ended up getting his foot was like stepped on. It was really purple. That's really like one of the reasons why they picked me up, because they thought he wasn't gonna play. Mm-hmm. Then little did I know, he doesn't come out of the game.
He just still is.
But my time in Carolina was perfect, man. The things that were happening, it kind of felt like a sigh of relief, because I was like, man, I finally get the ball and show people like bro, I could play ball. Like this is, you know what I'm saying, what I've been dreaming of, the day of, you know what I'm saying. I feel like my dad was with me. Yep. And I'm balling, and it's every week is something. Like I'm like, all right, at some point these touchdowns are gonna stop. These crazy runs are gonna stop. And they just kept happening. I was just like, man, this is what I've been waiting on to show the world. Like, I could actually play. Yeah. And Carolina, it was a great time. I felt like we had a great team.
Yeah, 2020, you had over 1,000 yards from scrimmage. You scored 8 or 9 touchdowns, which is unheard of in the NFL. And your contract expired. Then your contract expires. They claimed you. But I do want you to tell the people about getting claimed mid-season. They hand you the playbook, and they're like, hey, are you ready to play here in 4 or 5 days? Tell us about the cramming you had to do to get ready to play.
So it's kind of like the worst, man. When I got to Carolina, that playbook was so different. It was like...
It was Cam, yep.
Yeah, so like certain teams, you know what I'm saying, you can pick up on words easy, because you're like, all right, I heard this word before. I know what it means. Yep. Like dragon. Yep. You know exactly what that is. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So like... But I get to Carolina, dragon means something completely else. And it's messing with my brain. So it's kind of like when I was in Seattle, I was the first, second, and third down guy there, because I knew like all the routes and the plays. Mm-hmm. Like I knew it all, so I can play all downs. But in Carolina, the play calls didn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So to learn it in 4 or 5 days, I couldn't.
Physically
so
impossible,
I couldn't. Yeah. So I couldn't play. Like I didn't dress like the first 2 games, because I didn't know the plays. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to hear playbook.
Well, you have to erase the playbook the week before and then learn something brand new.
Yeah, it was something new every week, and I was just like, I thought I was smart, and then it was just like, these plays don't make sense. But that offense was different than any other offense in the NFL. Yeah. They were going off of old terminology.
Yeah, they were kind of like Gus Malzahn. They did like old school, like very college offense, because they had Cam in a running quarterback, one of the first at that time to have a dual threat guy like that, who was a freakazoid who beat Steven and I in the SEC championship game. Screw that guy.
Why bring that shit up? I don't understand it.
Well, you made me.
I like Cam. Though. Right. I'm gonna just say I like Cam. Atlanta guy.
Can't
You're the only
Cam's
one.
game.
You're the only one in this podcast that likes that guy. Maybe besides Dakota.
I don't mind. I love Cam's game. I hated playing against him when I was in Atlanta for 4 years because they were freaking unbeatable then.
Yeah.
Hey,
Cam.
Mike, real quick, man, to kind of segue through with the what you were just saying as far as the playbook goes. One of the first fan questions that was asked was, it can be tough for QBs to have to constantly learn new systems. What's it like being a running back in different schemes and varying QB styles? Obviously, you bounced around. You played with Cam, Wilson, Teddy Checkdown, Matt Ryan, and Lamar.
I love
So,
Teddy.
just kind of go on with that. What
Yeah.
you were saying as far as like the different schemes, different terminologies, and obviously different quarterback playing styles.
Yeah, so the QB playing style plays a lot in there. That's what I want to say. So at running back, I got to know what the receivers are doing. I got to know their routes and stuff because I can be out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how a lot of guys get messed up at running back. You only see them in on certain
gotta
downs.
learn empty
Like
stuff, yeah.
you see guys in on first and second down, that's it. You don't see him in on third down. The guy in on third down knows everything. He knows the blocking schemes. He knows the protections well. Well, you got to know him really well if you're in on third down. And it's tough when you have quarterbacks that can run. So like Lamar, that offense with Lamar was kind of hard. The terminology was hard because of they're using different things because they want to cater the offense to him. Mm-hmm. So it's not your traditional shotgun stuff, 2-jet, 3-jet.
Yeah, playing for like a Matt Ryan or a
Easy.
Josh Allen, relatively easy because it's just off-schedule plays if they ever do get running. It's not designed quarterback run game stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Carolina, when I first got there, was tough, and Baltimore was tough. Everywhere else was kind of easy because I've been in them, but to mid-season throw a whole different playbook at somebody is kind of tough, especially when they don't run 2-jet, 3-jet, all that kind of stuff. So all the typical blocking stuff that's easy to remember.
Yeah, you got to
I got you.
System. So
Great question by our fan Dakota Watkins. Awesome question.
Yeah, that's our producer, fellas. So you finish up in Carolina, have a big year, over 1,000 yards, score boatload of touchdowns. Like, I guess it's the Shane Beamer theme, welcome home. Coming back to Atlanta in 2021, like, you're the guy. You signed another pretty decent 2-year contract. Yep. Tell us about, coming back and playing for the hometown team and what it meant to wear the red and black. I did it for 4 years. That's a special place. Tell us about it.
Yep. So, like you said, man, I balled in Carolina, and the only thing I was thinking in my mind was, I'm signing back to Carolina. I don't care. So, free agency, like I said, this was during COVID.
Yep.
So the price on everything is down. No matter who you are, your contract, the numbers are different now.
Yep.
So I just knew I was going back to the Panthers.
Yep.
The Falcons offered me a contract, and I'm like, all right, just shoot it over to the Panthers. They can match it.
Yep,
I'm going back. Well, they sent my agent sent the contract over to, the Panthers, like, hey, this is what the Falcons offer. If you want to match it or offer more, like, this is what it is. Well, the Panthers called and were like, yeah, just tell Mike, we appreciate everything he's done for us.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for everything you've done for us. I'm like, bro, there's no shot.
Yeah.
They didn't even match it.
That's
like,
crazy.
if they would have just matched it, bro, or $1 million less, I'm coming back. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go. Like, I had a great time in Charlotte.
Yep.
So I'm like, there's no shot they don't offer me anything. Like, not a contract, no nothing. So ended up signing with the Falcons, and it was like, man, like you said, like, I'm home. I'm home. I get to drive from my actual house to practice. This is great. I can't picture this nothing else. No other way. I just balled, so I'm thinking in my head, coming home,
I'm the guy
do the
again.
same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to do this at home. You can't write this script any better. You know what I'm saying, on my career, and then boom, downhill, and I'm just like, bro, just not again.
Yeah.
Not again.
I'll say it again. I was so fascinated because you had highs of highs, you had lows of lows. When you're in Atlanta and you play all of 2021 in Atlanta, get released in 2022 in the offseason. You end up signing in Baltimore. Never really get a chance. You're playing in a funky system too with Lamar.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I could imagine how frustrated you were.
Yeah. So Atlanta was very frustrating because it's like I'm home and I wanna ball like I was in Carolina, but it's like it's just not happening. And it's like you just feel like you letting your family down, your friends down, everybody down because you're at home. So that amplifies it like times 100. So that kind of like weighed on me, and I'm trying even harder to make stuff happening, and it just wasn't going. So
Arthur Smith was head coach
Arthur
there.
Smith,
So
yeah.
it was
So
wide
the
zone.
wide zone, it wasn't working out for me.
The O-line, I mean, not to throw shade, but you did not have a great offensive line blocking for you. A bunch of young guys.
Then a bunch of new guys.
I mean, look
very
at
bunch
them
of new
now. I
guys.
mean, those guys are
Great.
developed now. It takes
Yeah.
time. But unfortunately, you caught them
I caught him
in
at a bad
the rookie
time.
woes.
Yeah.
But I mean, you had not the career I would say that you wanted when it comes to getting the opportunities and showcasing. You had spurts of it, but I mean, peaks and valleys.
Yep.
You end up retiring in 2024.
February.
Yeah, my birthday.
February 19th.
February 19th, yep.
We were looking at it. Like, tell us, like, I remember I struggled with leaving the game. What was it like for you finally announcing that you were retiring, stepping away from the game? Talk to us about it.
So I kind of it's funny. Me and my wife got into an argument too about this. So she was mad. I didn't kind of tell her. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm doing this today.
I told her, but it's kind of she was kind of like why would you do it on your birthday? You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like those things. So we kind of got into it, which is what I think is so funny now. We're arguing about me retiring.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, on my birthday, and it was kind of like okay, whatever. But it was kind of tough because 2013 I didn't 2013 Jesus
2023.
Christ 2023 I didn't play the whole year. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm trying to get back into it, and I'm working out, I'm training. I had a workout with Minnesota. Okay. This is what kind of like my workout with Minnesota kind of like pushed retirement. Like, all right, like this might be what you want to do.
Yeah, you're losing. I'm losing it.
My workout with Minnesota was so hard, and I mean insanely hard. And I was like, I know how I've been training like heavy in Atlanta, and you know, I'm asking guys, you know, so I never had to do a workout before, so I'm like, hey, you know, what I'm saying, like, how's the workout? How does it go? I'm like, yeah, man, you only in there for about 20 minutes. And, you know what I'm saying? You run a couple drills. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, they wanted to see what you look like, and then boom, they let you know if you're gonna sign you or not. Well, my workout in Minnesota was at least 45 minutes.
Oh gosh.
So I'm running way more drills than what guys have said, you know what I'm saying, that they were doing. I'm running a whole route tree.
Yep.
And man, to end it all, I had to run 2 wheel routes out of the backfield. So just imagine all these workouts and stuff I'm doing in Minnesota. So I'm gassed. But there's another guy with me, but he was very young. But he was gassed too, so it kind of made me feel like, okay, it's not just me.
Yep. He had them young legs, and he was still tired.
Yeah. So it was like this workout is killing me, and I'm like, I feel like this is usually not the case, and I feel like I should be killing this workout, but I feel like they were trying to like make a point, but I kind of like, nah, I can't go out like this. So that kind of like pushed it on. I never like really like signed with anybody.
Made you start thinking a little bit more
like,
about it. Yep.
And then, you know what I'm saying, like in Baltimore, I didn't really play at all. I'm just there, and I'm just like, I'm signed. I'm like, I'm not doing nothing here.
Well, there's nothing like football shape too, and that's something to think about too. You can work out and run gassers and all that stuff, and then you actually put the pads on and start doing football drills.
It's tough.
There's nothing like it. So you're done. You got married in 2021. You have 2 beautiful girls. Tell us about your family and what all it means.
Yeah, so my baby girl, Kimma, and she's 2, and Carson is 12. So that age gap right there is something.
Yep.
Tell me about it.
Oh, Memphis is 16 or 17?
He turned 17 in 19 days.
He's
And
17
then
and
and then we have a
18 months.
19-year-old, our 19-month-old.
Okay, now that's a major drop. That's a major drop off. I can't imagine the stuff you over there going through. Well, I can.
I
That's why
don't
you
want
got
to
the
drink. I
beer.
have to drink.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah,
Understandable.
completely get it.
But yeah, there's two girls there. They're my world. My wife, she holds it down. But I just think having so I called Carson's mom. She had her before we met, but she's that's my daughter. Like
Yep.
I don't care. Kimma, like actually seeing like the birth and all that, man, to seeing the process, I kind of gained like a lot of respect for women.
Yep.
And I like to think of myself as tough, but that's a different tough in that hospital and the stuff they go through.
Mm-hmm.
So
That'll definitely open her eyeballs up a little bit.
yeah, yeah. So I was told to not look down there.
Yep. Did
When
you?
I definitely looked.
Oh no.
I was
I mean,
curious.
you can't help but look. I mean,
Yeah,
it's part of the
it's
deal.
right there, and you're gonna tell me don't look, like no matter what, don't look. So I'm like, all right. The moment
you tell me not to touch the
not the-
stove, I'm gonna touch the stove.
you feel me? So yeah, man. The moment I looked down and seen the head, I was like, oh my God, this is real.
Yep.
But man, I love it, man. We go everywhere. We're a family that loves to travel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I love to go places. We just took them to DR. Man, we go everywhere. I'm telling you, we're a close knit family. We go to Orlando like twice a year.
Yep.
We go to Disney.
Orlando. Tops Tampa.
There's no way you'd like Tampa over Orlando. There's no way.
I would do bad things to good people to not go to Orlando.
There's no,
He
I-4,
has
dude,
a vision of
I-4
Tampa.
is a different animal. Pat, you know about I-4.
I-4
That
sucks.
is-
I agree.
It's
But when you're
what
at
is
the
it?
parks, you
It's
don't
the
have to deal
most
with the
deadly
highway.
interstate
You're
on the
in
freaking in the
paradise
country.
over there.
oh yeah, I'm flying in.
Yep. I'm not driving. I'm flying.
But we're like we love Disney, man. We absolutely love Disney. Like I said, we go at least twice a year, maybe three.
Well, we just play golf. It's a newfound love of yours.
Yes.
I mean, you were saying on the golf course, if you could play golf every day for the rest of your life,
would.
you'd be one of the happiest men ever.
Definitely.
Tell
Tiger
us
Hood.
about golf and how you got into
know,
it. And
yeah.
tell us
Hood
all
golf.
about it.
Yeah. So one of my friends, Preston Smith, right? They went golfing one day. This was, I want to say, like 2021-ish, right? And they invite me out, like, hey man, come out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, I'm not going golfing. Like, come on, that's lame. Just like, bro, just come out, man. Just see if you like it. So I go out there, bro. I got basketball shorts on, flip flops, right?
That's how
have-
Steven
That's
golfs usually.
I was about to say, what's wrong with that?
That's how he golfs.
That's terrible golf.
With his
etiquette.
shirts on, that's
Hey,
what he's wearing.
yeah, no shoes, man, and the shirt's optional.
I don't flip flops.
Yep.
So it's like, all right, man. It was like, bro, just try to hit the ball. Just see what you can do. So my first time actually like swinging the club, I had a good contact with the ball, and that's how I got hooked.
Yep. It's easy as that.
Yep. And then like the next outing, you know what I'm saying, playing with Preston Smith again. A lot of us players now, Preston Smith, Carl Davis, Casey Hayward. But I got invited out, and what made me want to play the game more, I was laughing at Preston about like a bad shot he made.
Mm-hmm.
And he turns to me and say, "You'll never make a birdie." And I said, "Okay." Like he talking trash to me like,
Yep.
"You'll never be good at this game." And I was like, "Okay, all right." That was it. That's all I
motivation.
needed.
That's motivation. Send it. Keep sending
That's
it.
all I needed. But it's just like football. It's like that competition. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, I love it. You tell me I can't do something, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to be good at it. That's all I need to fuel the fire.
Well, you're doing some work with the group now, 4 athletes. Tell us a little bit about that company and how it came about and what your involvement is. And I mean, I've been following it for the last 2 or 3 years. It has been incredible for the game of golf and expanding it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so 4 athletes, Alan Chaney and Joshua Dobbs, you know, they were founders of the organization, and just working with Chaney. So Chaney, he really like really helped and like boost my game. Going to the events. There's a golf event they do like every year in Orlando.
Yep.
I went last year, man.
Like tournament style, right?
Yeah, and it's like these new inventions of golf and all that stuff, like every technology, everything you need. Um, I just think with four athletes, what he's doing is he's bringing NFL guys, professional athletes, helping them with their game
Yep.
and getting them more and more involved in golf. And we host these events, and it's like we're meeting, you know what I'm saying, more and more people and getting everybody involved in it. And it's becoming bigger and bigger every day.
It's been really cool to watch. I mean, I follow four athletes on social media and everything, and it is really cool to see what it's bringing to the game of golf. And I mean, during my time playing, in the off season I would play a lot of golf, but during OTAs and stuff, when you have a lot of free time, I'd go out and golf and there'd be one or two guys playing. And now, like, I see there's like a group of 25, like half the team in Buffalo is going to play golf, half the team in Atlanta is going to golf, and I'm like, man, I missed it by a couple of years. Like, I was going out with one or two guys, and now we could have everybody out there, but that's building the team. So I think that's so cool, kind of how golf has grown the game. And like we were talking on the golf course, we just had our golf trip. Like, dude, you're going to be invited next year.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one.
And it's just going to be a blast. We continue to grow it.
Yeah, my friend group, you see the Tiger Hood thing that I have on Instagram. And I feel like with that thing I created with those guys, I feel like it just shows you like how up and down the game is. Like, we're not good by any chance at all. So it's kind of like we're showing you the uncut raw things of what's going on, especially like with us, with athletes trying to play golf. You know.
Well, Steven, I know you got to go here soon because
I just want to ask. I got these fan questions, Mike. It's pretty quick. All right, the first one is the rivalry with you and your brother. Obviously, you chose SC, he chose Clemson. Where does the family lean, Garnet or Orange?
My mom would probably lean towards Clemson more.
Oh no!
Oh no! That's terrible.
I would say that, but I hated being like, there was no chance of me going to Clemson. Just so everybody knows. Okay, you know what I'm saying. So like
just
Clemson,
shadow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I hated being called James Davis' little brother, like growing up. So if anybody ever thought I was going to Clemson by any chance and the stuff he did there, it was never happening.
That's cool though.
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I decommitted and I was like going to South Carolina. I'm going to the rival team. Yep. I'm finna beat the brakes off y'all every year.
Love it. All right. What is the hardest SEC hit?
Hardest SEC hit?
I feel like you delivered most of the hits instead of taking that.
Yeah, that's kind of a stupid question.
I got SEC. I don't really have a hard SEC hit, to be honest. I have one.
How about NFL?
I played. Oh snap!
Ooh, tell them the story about you running over.
One of them. Yep. Oh my God.
Gamecock on Gamecock crime.
Yeah, so that one was kind of like in the moment it happened. I'm sorry, DJ. I'm so sorry. He was fighting off a block, and it was like he didn't see me coming, but I saw him. You know what I'm saying? And it was like I'm full head of steam. It's like third and 1 or 2. So I saw him last minute, like trying to come off a block. He didn't see me, and I ran him over. His legs went in the air. And I was like, bro, I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm so sorry, bro. I didn't mean to do you like this. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like, you know what I'm saying?
Give him a big hug after the game.
But I was like, bro, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you.
That's awesome. And then the last one, man, is it true that you bought 7 different color Corvettes? So you had a different car color for every day of the week?
Who asked that question? No, I had, that's kind of funny though. It was a bunch of different colors.
All right, so then I mean, there's got to be some sort of truth to it.
It's 3: silver, matte black, and blue, like Carolina blue.
Yep.
When I had it in Carolina, so those are the only 3 colors.
Almost half the week. He was coming half the week.
I was. That's funny.
There.
That's funny. Somebody asked that question. That's got to be somebody I know.
I don't know, but I heard that from somebody, and and then some guy said your recent stint with the Panthers, you were up to 640 yards and 6 touchdowns. Basically, it's not a question; it's more of a thank you for winning in their fantasy league or something like that.
I'm sure you got a bunch of those.
I got a bunch of those in Carolina. Yeah, I helped a lot.
Yeah,
Well, I got a
was-
lot
yeah.
of people call them. I got check down. I had a lot of catches, so I guess they helped a lot in fantasy.
Teddy check down?
Man.
Yep.
Teddy was awesome. That team was. We had a bunch of guys go over 1,000 yards.
Yep.
I wish they never broke us up, but that's
All right,
you know the business.
I know Steven's got to go, and I got to roll here too. Dude, appreciate you coming out and playing 9 holes with me on the golf course. I know I'm holding you up, and you're about to go back out.
About to go right back out.
Appreciate you coming out, brother.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to play golf a bunch more, and we're going to have you on the show a bunch more, dude, because this was a lot of fun, and it was cool to hear your story.
Yeah, man, I can't wait.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you, Mike.
Thank y'all for having me.